This video is hot takes. That's pretty much it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a like, but hot takes time. The Sixers have a better chance of making the finals than the Nets, whether it's because of injuries or interior defense or whatever. The Nets might get screwed. Embiid is the perfect counter to every team in the East. Well, first of all, I find it hilarious that you mentioned injuries when talking about like playoff chances when Joel Embiid exists on this team. But also the argument of like Joel Embiid is the perfect counter for every team in the East. First of all, it's not necessarily true because there are some teams that are good interior defense-wise, even if the Nets are not. But while, Embiid would probably average well over 30 in a series versus the Brooklyn Nets. In the same token, how the hell is any team, other than maybe the Clippers, and not even them really, guarding Kyrie, KD, and James Harden? Like, that's fucking ridiculous amount of offensive talent. So if you want to make the argument like, oh, who's guarding this, even though the Sixers have good ass defense and can still give that team problems, you can make just as much of an argument because at least one guy, at least Kyrie or at least James Harden or at least Kevin Durant is going to have a cupcake matchup, or at least not a very great one. And because those guys are as good as they are, they're going to take advantage of it. Whether you put Ben Simmons on Kevin Durant, then that means you have to put, what even is their starting lineup at this point? I mean, you want to put Matisse Thybulle in the starting lineup for the defense, then you're worrying about the spacing issues that he brings. You put him on James Harden, I guess that wouldn't be bad, but then who the hell is guarding Kyrie? George Hill, that's not really going to do much. Shake Milton's not really a defensive player. I'm failing to see the vision. Of course, Joel Embiid's rim protection, but just like you can make the argument that Embiid would go off versus the Nets, players on the Nets are going to go off on the Sixers, so it balances out, and then some. And then just the fact that they got more talent, I'm picking the Nets. The league wants Joel Embiid to win MVP. How is it possible that he averages 12 free throws a game and Jokic only 4.5? First of all, the league does not give a shit who wins MVP pretty much ever. I've never seen once there's a conspiracy. I'm sure it exists because NBA fans are stupid, but I have never seen like a conspiracy that the NBA wants a player to win MVP or not. I think I've seen it with James Harden fans, but they're James Harden fans, so ignore them. I don't think the league has a thing for Joel Embiid winning the award. That's ludicrous. Joel Embiid, for his entire career, really has been like. Actually, let me look this up because I want to confirm this. Like, this is a common trend. It's not like this is some conspiracy because this is a stupid take. First of all, so I'm just harping on that. All right, Joel Embiid, since after his rookie season, for 3 seasons now, has averaged 9 free throw attempts per game. This year, Embiid averages 11. Now, if I can look up Nikola Jokic for the last 3 years, also pretty much since he broke out to be a star-level player, averages 4.2. So, has this conspiracy existed for the MVP for the last 3 seasons as well? Yeah, no. Like, the difference is that Joel Embiid is really good at drawing fouls and Nikola Jokic isn't. Jokic does not have a high free throw rate because the way he goes to the basket is he tries to be more about getting the finesse finish than the power finish. And yeah, he's so good at it that it works, but Embiid is all about pushing his muscle into you, and you're either going to foul him or he's going to score. It's a lot more about physical dominance with Embiid on top of the fact that he foul baits a lot, so that's why he averages more free throws. This isn't some fucking conspiracy from the league against Nikola Jokic or pro Joel Embiid. I think Jokic probably deserves more calls than he gets, but it's not a conspiracy by the league. This has been the same free throw number averages for both of them for their careers this year as well, pretty much. A difference of 2 free throw attempts for Embiid this year, but yeah, that's the conspiracy. That was, wow. Zion is top 20. Probably not, but he's probably like right on the border. I mean, I'd have to put together the list, but Zion is so fucking good. So, I mean, yeah, it's possible he's top 20. I'd have to actually write out other players. Like, who's the best player that I think is worse than Zion? Is it maybe, I'm going to piss people off with this. Is it maybe Bradley Beal? Am I maybe, like, Zion might be better than Bradley Beal at this point? Because, I mean, a little, like, I think, like, almost, fuck, what is Bradley Beal even averaging at this point? It's going to be a bitch to edit, Rudy, but I gotta keep looking things up. 'Cause I haven't watched much Wizards lately, so I don't know if he's had any dips or anything like that. So he's averaging 31. Let me pull this up. 31 on 60% true shooting, which is above league average by 3%. And then Zion, last I checked, is 26 on like 64% true shooting. So 26, advanced stats, 66% true shooting. I think that's relatively close, and both of these guys aren't really doing much outside of point production. Nah, I don't know. But like that's probably the tier that I put Zion at right now. So there you go. D'Angelo Russell is not that overrated. He has had bad luck with teams and injuries. Here's why D'Angelo Russell is overrated, not underrated. I understand his circumstances the past couple years have not been good. The thing is, though, D'Lo has been overrated for his entire career because he has an issue that is often ignored with him. He is one of those players that like people completely ignore his weaknesses, and I'm not talking about defense, even though that's a big one. The biggest issue with D'Angelo Russell is that he is inherently going to be inefficient because he has an issue attacking the basket, because he refuses to absorb contact, because he does not try to go to the basket, period. He is going to be a guy who takes a bunch of jump shots and a bunch of floaters. He's going to barely attempt free throws. He's not good at the rim at all. So for that reason, he's just simply not going to be that valuable as a primary shot creator. He constantly goes to the basket and he has an opportunity, and somehow like 10 feet from the basket, of course, he's going to go for a floater or a mid-range pull-up. And that's an issue that is so often ignored with D'Angelo Russell that I think he's going to be constantly overrated as a result, until that is commonly something that I hear people talk about with D'Lo. It is to an extent, but like this is a big problem for D'Lo, and no one seems to talk about it from where I'm standing. I'm actually sitting, but you know, metaphors. Rusty looked cuter back when he didn't have a beard. Well, I guess you could say I looked cuter because I looked like a whittle boy, but I'm not trying to look cute. I'm trying to look like a man. I don't know what the fuck that was. Anthony Edwards' potential is just as high as LaMelo's. No, it's not. I think Anthony Edwards has higher scoring potential, but that is pretty much it. I think LaMelo has superstar potential. I don't think Edwards has superstar potential. I think he has star potential, perennial all-star potential even, but superstar potential, I'm going to keep that on LaMelo pretty much alone from this draft class, other than maybe Patrick Williams, but I'm not going to say that one. So yeah, no, LaMelo has a higher ceiling. When he's healthy, Al-Farouq Aminu will be the Bulls' third best player. If Al-Farouq Aminu is healthy and he gets in the rotation to begin with, first of all, and then he ends up being the Bulls' third best player, I will give you $10,000. How about we say $10,000? Like that is how confident I am that you don't, like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, actually, what the fuck are you talking about? Aminu? Al-Farouq Aminu is going to be the third best player on the Bulls. Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic All-Stars, and then Thaddeus Young is so good this year. The disrespect to even suggest such a thing when those three Bulls players are so good in comparison to Al-Farouq Aminu, the guy who can't even barely crack the rotation in Orlando. The fuck? Oh, man. A lot of dumb takes in these last two Hot Takes videos. My God. Uncharted 4 is the best game in the series. Wow, that's an interesting take. And you know what? I agree. In fact, I agree so much that I should make an hour-long video expressing why I think that's my opinion. Oh, fuck, I did that months ago. Link in the description if I remember. I won't. The Nuggets getting Aaron Gordon solidified them as a contender in the West. Top 3 team in the West easily. They also could give most teams in the East a run for their money, maybe even the Nets. Yeah, the Nuggets trade with like Aaron Gordon, it's such a damn good fit. I love watching the Nuggets right now because they're just so fucking fun with Aaron Gordon. Like, Aaron Gordon is having so much fun in that system. He's smiling constantly. It's such a good fit, bro. Like, I think, I mean, it is a hot take. I love the Nuggets at this point. Like, I think every time I watch them, like, this team is so good that I think they could beat just about anybody in front of them, pretty much except for the Nets. Like the Nuggets, I am real confident in that team at the moment, especially because Michael Porter Jr. has been breaking out lately. It's just beautiful what's going on in Denver. Paul George is a criminally underrated three-point shooter. Yeah, that's true. Paul George is one of these players that, like, we're talking so much about him, like him being overrated, underrated, whatever the fuck, like him being like constantly shit on, him having bad performances here or there, him having a great performance, his MVP shit from a minute ago. The camera died, and I'm not gonna replace it, so we're just gonna finish this one with a fucking black screen. But he is also like one of the greatest three-point shooters of all time. So yeah, that's a thing. Like he is like at the around the 40s mark on high volume for the past couple of years, pretty much since he's left Indiana. So yeah, all-time great three-point shooter Paul George, never mentioned there though. This is a black screen at this point, but I don't care. Shout out to Rudy for editing this video. That is the end of this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe for NBA content like this, and cue the outro music. Why am I still looking at the camera like it's on? Like, why am I doing that?